which project you like the most, why, and how we can improve?
Well, I like how the smart home guys approach it from the energy perspective, energy sort of saving and applications to users, to customers, because they framed it right. They had the right data. 52% is actually the household consumption of electricity, and 70% of that is air conditioning. So I think they hit the nail on in terms of that approach to that problem. The project, I also like the omnipresence guys seem to really have a good idea about how they want to solve the problem, but the application side seems to be a bit of a challenge for them.
Okay, how do you think we can improve in the next semester? Any general comment?
I think framing the problem first, going out and doing a survey with actual consumers, saying what are your problem, what are your pain points in your sector. So first of all, choose a sector. It could be banking, it could be retail, it could be grocery, it could be car service, it could be pump stations, and then service fuel pump stations, and then from there you go and interview the users of that and say what are your main pain points and solve towards that. That way they work backwards. They can actually do something more relevant to the consumer and be able to check through other projects.
The same question, which project you like the most, why, and how do you think we can improve?
I think I like this one, omnipresence one, and mostly I like it because it's detection on demand. I think the detection technique should be improved. Maybe use something more reliable like retina scanners. I see a lot of use for it. I see potential to make money through government agencies and banks, and I think really something that could pick up compared to the other projects.
How we can improve in the next semester, as far as our senior exam projects are concerned?
Maybe think outside the box. I felt that some of the projects, there's a lot of off-the-shelf products that are being repackaged, and I couldn't see the benefits of it. I feel that a senior design project should be something extraordinary, something that we could learn from, and something that could be commercialized and leveraged, rather than repeating something that's on the market already.
Okay. Which project you like the most, and why, and how do you think we can improve in the next semester?
Well, to be honest with you, it's tricky to give you a preference of one over the other. They all seem to have their positives and their strengths and weaknesses. I mean, I like the home automation one. It was well presented. They had a complete demonstration that worked, but it's not maybe as let's say ambitious as Omnipresence 2, where the point of that is to make it very easy for people to communicate very easily without carrying a device. So which one is better? They all seem to be similar in my opinion. I cannot really choose one over the other. The Omnipresence 2, I got more engaged with it because I saw more potential. I mean, improving that one seems to be easier than improving the others. So it was, to me, I don't know, I was drawn to it because there is so much that can be improved to come up with something. In its current form, it's not that, it's not complete. I wish in the future, maybe they would consider other biometrics to have a more reliable way of identifying the locations and the places of the people. I also think there is some room to, make it relatively easy to identify people, or cheaper to identify people. For example, using off-the-shelf hardware, for example, Android tablets. Can that, for example, be used as a terminal? I mean, it seems like it, but again, I didn't get to the nitty-gritty details to see how easy it is.
General comment on our senior design project and how we can improve them?
Senior design projects, I mean, I see a very big difference from my days versus these days. I mean, in my days, it seemed like we would I mean, I remember doing a project about doing an arithmetic logic unit, a simulation. These days, I mean, I see a big difference or a big shift, and I cannot. I mean, it's definitely a positive one because people are integrating technologies to come up with a project. Now, if the trend is gonna continue like that in the future, maybe one thing to look at is to utilize off-the-shelf, very cheap, products to implement these projects or technologies. For example, Omnipresence 2, maybe they could use Android tablets. For example, biometrics, I mean, in the Omnipresence 1, they would consider using more secure, reliable technologies like RealSense, like new generation fingerprint readers. Same thing with the home automation. I mean, one of the things that I would like is to consider products to add functionality to the existing project. So it's possible that next year, a good idea is to look at the projects this year and just see if we can come up with a more refined version of those projects. And we use this as a starting point. That's one option to look at, but I mean, certainly there are other.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.